Welcome to the Big Agent Meeting. My name is Russ Lagan. I am Vice President of Training for eXp Realty. And today actually is just a little bit past the halfway mark for the year. And if there's one thing this market requires right now, it's adaptability. Things are changing fast and you got to keep adjusting. So that's exactly why we packed up this session of Big Agent Meeting on Wednesdays. So we have a cool show lined up for you guys today. First off, I'm going to be sitting with the one and only friend of mine, Sean Murphy, who is a Senior Vice President of eXp Commercial. Then we're going to be unpacking the latest RESS alongside our CEO, Leo Pareja and Lenny Sharp. Then we're going to kick it over to Essential Market and Compliance Download with the Brokerage Brief. Of course, Holly Mabery is going to be telling you what's going on there. And then, of course, we're going to lock it over to Alyssa Speck with University Spotlight. So let's get straight into our opening segment. Join me right now. Give a huge welcome to the one and only Sean Murphy.
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
Hey, come on, man. Hey, everybody. Sean, how are you doing, brother?
I'm doing fantastic. You know, it's the middle of summer. Things are really turning along really fast. It's awesome.
Yeah. Are you still hanging out in San Diego, or are you going somewhere for the summer?
I am in San Diego. There have been a couple of commercial events, and I know we have an Inman event coming up, which is in San Diego, and
nice.
Just getting ready for eXp Commercial Convention in Salt Lake coming up on October 7th.
Yeah, you know, I heard you guys were doing a separate little adjunct to eXpCon, which is pretty cool. Tell me a little bit about that and why somebody should show up for that.
Well, the commercial convention is 100% focused on the commercial advisors. We have, believe it or not, thousands of people who do commercial that are in the realty side that want to attend that pre-convention.
Right.
It's the day before it actually starts. Well, this time the commercial convention will transition directly into the eXpCon's keynote speaker, Gary Vee. So wow. It's going to be an awesome day.
That is fantastic. So is that the Wednesday, the first day of eXpCon?
That is October 7th, Wednesday. It's the very first day of eXpCon. It's a 100% commercial focused convention. Last time we had over 1,000 people register for that portion of eXpCon.
Wow. Okay. So let me ask you a real good question that I know somebody's asking out there, because I'm wondering myself, hey, I'm an eXp agent doing residential stuff, but I've always been commercial curious, or I've done some commercial stuff, but I really don't know what I'm doing. So who's invited? Who's allowed to show up for that? Can I show up for that?
You can show up for that. Anybody at eXp can show up for that. Any of their guests can show up for that. Just be sure when you fill out your registration for eXpCon that you check, I want to attend the commercial convention as well, just so we have the seating. Because we ran out of seating. Got to meet our friend, the fire marshal, last time. Don't want to do that again.
Yeah, standing room only sounds cool until the fire marshal shows up.
Trying to pack 600 people into a 400-person room. It was fun. But you know what? That just shows us we need to make it bigger this time. There's going to be more people this time. We're already ahead of registrations from last year, so it's going to be bigger this time.
Okay, so 2 more questions now, since you threw that one in there. Number 1, extra charge. Is there an extra cost for that?
Not an extra cost at all. You are an eXp member. You get everything eXp has to offer at the convention.
That is fantastic. And again, where do I go to sign up for that?
You're going to go to the eXpCon registration, and there's a box that says I'm going to attend eXpCon.
Okay, so if you haven't already registered for eXpCon, when you do that, make sure you look for the box that says I'm interested in commercial stuff also. Check that box, and that'll get you the ability to register for the eXpCon commercial pre-show on top of the show. And then later that day, Gary Vee's kicking off on the big stage, yeah?
Yeah. We transitioned directly from our main stage to the keynote speaker, Gary Vee.
That's fantastic. So I can see you walking out of the room like Mama Duck with a bunch of baby ducks following you over the room.
Go this way. You know, I've never been in Salt Lake's the Salt Palace, so I'm not even going to know which way to go, but I will find out, and I will help you get there.
There you go. I'm sure we'll have people giving directions. We always have plenty of help there to make sure people know where to go and ask questions so nobody gets lost. So just look for somebody that looks official, or just find me and I'll find somebody that's official, because I don't know where I'm going half the time either. Or just follow me, because I'm always going to cool places. So Sean, so what is the big shift right now in commercial? Like, is there something going on in commercial right now? Because residential's been flat, dead loop, right? Like the last 4 years, completely flat, plus or minus 4 million closes a year. Doesn't look like this year's going to be any different. Next year doesn't look like there's going to be anything different unless something catastrophic changes. Is commercial still flat too, or what's going on in that world?
Commercial is up across all product categories. And I know when you ask a real estate agent, hey, how's the market? Their standard answer is, it's great. Use me. Yeah. It truly is up in all product categories, even office, which was down because of the great work at home transition.
Yeah.
We lost a lot of office space, but now that's transitioning to other usage, and we also have people returning to office. It's up about 12% across all product categories. Last month, record month. We had not closed that many properties ever or done that much volume before. Record months. Everything in summer usually gets flat in real estate, which I don't know why. It's a great time to go see houses.
Yeah.
But in commercial real estate, you have to wind up all your student housing before classes start. You have to book all of those, especially retail stores that are going to be just there through the holiday, like your spooky haunted house stores that take up retail space just for specific holidays. But all of those retail stores have to have their leases signed right now. And this is the best time for hotels to show their financials because it's peak season and they look the most attractive to buyers during the peak season. So we're crushing it right now across most of our product categories in commercial, and we're growing like we've never grown before.
All right, Sean Murphy, always last word on commercial. So connect to commercial people. What's your last word on commercial?
You know, if you're thinking about commercial, we've discovered through a lot of research that you do better on a team while learning. So we financially incentivize you to join a team here in commercial. It's called the Agent Development Pathway or the Advisor Development Pathway. So you can go into the traditional mentor program, and mentors are there for compliance and some coaching, but they're largely there to help you when you're in a transaction. We have vetted teams across the country. If you're thinking about joining commercial, you can join one of these teams across the country. Just contact growth@expcommercial.com. We'll set up an interview with these teams and get you kicked off on the right foot. Much higher success rates. If you're commercial curious, like Russ would say, every Tuesday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern time, we have Attract and Scale. You can go to the EXP commercial. You can go to the hub and just type in Attract and Scale, and the group will come up. And that will give you an introduction to all the different types of commercial. So come to every Tuesday, Attract and Scale. You go to the Attract and Scale group in the hub, and you'll get all the information.
All right. Thanks a bunch, Sean. Always great to chat with you. I'm looking forward to seeing you at EXPCon if I don't see you between now and then. So thank you very much for today. Appreciate you, sir.
Take care, Mr. Lagan.
All right. So there you go. Sean Murphy, EXP Commercial. So talking about strategic growth drivers across a brokerage, let's move right along into our next segment, which is talking about finding a niche that may explode your production. So here's a clip from Real Estate Success Stories and CEO Leo Pareja talking to top producer Lenny Sharp. Check out this clip now. You're going to love this.
For everybody listening, and I don't know if you know this, 5 years is the magical number in real estate. If you get to your 5th year in real estate, you're in for life, right? So the attrition ratio between year 1 and 5 is actually 90%.
Wow.
90% of the people don't make it to year 5. But if you make it to year 5, you're a lifer, basically. So one I say often, Lenny, is this is just a game of attrition. If you literally just get back up, you'll beat most people just because eventually people just get out of the business. And it's kind of like Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 hours of mastery, but in real estate, it kind of happens in year 5, where all of a sudden it all kind of feels automatic. You've seen most things, and it's a combination of like if you did 40 deals in the first 4 years, and then you did almost the same amount in the 5th year. You've seen just about every scenario. 70, 80 transactions. You've seen most things that can happen, good, bad, ugly. You have a pretty good breadth of knowledge of what's possible. But You also coupled it with investing in your education. What do you think was that catalyst between year 4 to year 5?
Well, fundamentally, it was deciding that short-term rental investors was my niche that I would then focus on and invest in. So basically, everything I'm producing now is for that audience. I get other opportunities that kind of fall into my lap, but I'm not actively trying to reach any other, market. It's short-term rental investors. And I know you love listings, and I actually have 6 signed listings right now. So I get listings also, but honestly, I love working with buyers and particularly investors because first of all, investors are looking for an investment. They might be looking in, 6 neighborhoods that are, 20 miles apart, and they don't care, right? It's not like if one of these 3 houses in this neighborhood doesn't work, then we're going to take 6 months off, right? So I also kind of liken it to listings are like farming, and you plant your crop and you nurture it and hope it, you get a harvest. Uh, so buyers are like hunting, and I think I'm more of a hunter than a farmer. And then, it's like, okay, well, that one didn't work out. We're just going to move on to the next one, right? So I feel like it's really creative, it's action oriented, it's dynamic, and I really love it. And then I've also put in place just a ton of tools to help my investors make an informed decision. And so, like I said, it's just kind of everything kind of came together, and then I, intentionally focused on it.
Excellent. So what have you been focusing on now that you've kind of carved out your niche? If you were to say, okay, repeatable, scalable, next couple of years, what's the one thing you focus on for folks who want to have a business similar to yours? And how do you suggest people learn about short-term rentals if they want to either own them or focus on them to sell them?
One of the things that I've been doing is I want to like clearly set myself apart. Like every realtor up here has done some short-term rental business. But I can say confidently to any prospective client, like nobody's doing it like I'm doing it. I also I do crazy things after the sale just because they'll ask. I'm constantly communicating with um, closed transaction clients. And I won't call them past clients because a lot of them are looking for their next investment also. But anything from referral for a task to Lenny, 4 TVs were just delivered to my driveway. Can you go run to the house and put them in the house, right? I mean, and I do those little things because, like I say, establishes the relationship. I'm I'm going to get all their referral business. I'm going to get their relatives that want to invest. I mean, so I do that. I think I just wanted to step back and say, to your kind of earlier question, I have kind of 2 major categories of investors. So there's the kind of the hardcore, I want to understand my cash on cash returns, my cap rate, they're looking at it purely from an investment perspective. I'm working with a client right now, and she uses underwriting every other word because she's underwriting her investment, and she wanted a realtor who was analytical, right? And so they are really focused on the numbers and the risk and kind of that end of it. Now, I love those clients and I work with them, but they are not my favorite client. My favorite client is somebody who wants to own a second home near Yosemite that will pay for itself, right? So on one hand, you are really stretched to build a business case that will tick all of the investment boxes. In the other case, it's like, wow, if we can use this house 30 or 40% of the time and it will pay for itself. And oh, by the way, appreciate 5% a year for the next 10 years. Like that's a win.
Thank you very much, Leo and Lenny. If you want to see the rest of that show, make sure you jump onto EXP YouTube channel and check out the rest of that interview. And of course, while you're there, always make sure you like and subscribe so you'll get notifications that tell you when other cool stuff is coming out, when Leo's doing other things you're going to want to see. So now it's time to shift into execution. Our shifting market and your daily habits and standards are what separates amateurs from the true professionals. Joining us next to deliver some critical tactical advice and operational best practices you can implement into your business today, here is Holly Mabery with your Brokerage Brief.
You know, the summer, there's all sorts of things that come into play. And we see a lot of legislatures go ahead and hit sine die and new laws go into effect. Well, this is something I want you to be aware of with regard to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. See, I watch this really closely, what they're doing and requirements when it comes to loans, because this impacts affordability and what you and I get to sell every day. Right now, let's focus on condos, because there's a couple of rules that have started to change that really are going to impact how you and I take care of our buyers and sellers. First and foremost, let's talk about the big picture. So back in March, Fannie issued a lender letter, and basically Freddie matched issuing the same bulletin around these changes. And some of them start to phase in as early as next week through January 2027. And so some of this can cause delays in closings. It could raise dues. It could see impact fees, or it could just stop your financing wholeheartedly. So first and foremost, this biggest change is to the reserve requirement. Fannie and Freddie are both requiring what was 10%, now 15% as far as reserves. And this is going into effect in January. So why is this such a big deal? Well, if you're working with buyers right now, one of the first things you want to understand is what are the reserves that the Condo Association has right now today. Because if they don't have at least 15%, you are probably looking at a dues increase of some sort, or maybe a special assessment. As a result, those conversations that you and I need to be having with our clients right now are more important than ever. If you're working with sellers, also same thing. This now becomes a disclosure issue for anybody looking to buy. Yeah, I said it out loud, a disclosure issue. So I really want you to make sure that you've got everything in writing and understand what's happening. Now, the next big change is with regard to the limited review. And what this was is most condo loans, they required a full review. The paperwork, the scrutiny, longer timelines, like everything that they wanted to understand about the condos. Well, what happened here is the limited review process that was kind of like the express lane to get your condo project renewed to get financing has been eliminated. So for buyers, this could take longer for closings and require more documentation from the HOA. And of course, for sellers, definitely that HOA paperwork. So as an agent, you want to make sure that you're requesting the condo questionnaire early, like maybe as you are going and checking out the property as a buyer. Hey, is this readily available? I'd be talking to the listing agent. As a listing agent going out on appointments, working with that HOA contact, understanding what needs to be, and then also working with your buyer's lender. How far in advance do you need it? What is the average time frame you're taking? And this will be pretty huge. This goes into effect in August. Now, reserve studies. Okay, let's talk about reserves. This is going to be at the highest funding level, and this goes into effect in August. So we have a really short amount of time to ask really good questions. So if I've got a condo under contract right now, I'm asking about the reserve study. It has to have been done here recently. So this is what's so important. If it was over 3 years old, that's not going to cut it anymore. So if you've got a closing post August 3rd, you just put a condo under contract, that reserve study is going to become really important. If it's older than 3 years, you could be looking at a delayed closing. Now, if you are just going out and you're going to look at properties and you're looking at condos, I would start asking the listing agent, hey, when was the reserve study done? Because this change coming August 3rd. Change number 4, but this is good news. See, I'm not all doom and gloom. And this actually came into effect on March 18th. This was something that the National Association of Realtors has been lobbying for a substantial amount of time. And what it basically does is it says, okay, investor concentrated limit has been removed. This is a good guy. So basically what it does is it opens up more condos for financing for buyers, which is awesome. Maybe they had 51% investor ownership. We saw a lot of investors come in and things like that. So this is really, really exciting, especially when you look at sellers getting able to sell and opening up to not just other investors, but to potentially homeowners or people moving in, which is so cool. So definitely talk to your lender before you go out and spread this good word, but I'm very excited about this change. Another good guy is going to be the small condo waiver has been expanded. This is really cool because it's now been expanded up to 10 units. So this will qualify for a project review waiver, means that everything goes faster financing, less built-in protection, which is a little dangerous, but that will work because people may have it easier to sell. This, of course, is specific to Freddie and Fannie. So you really want to work with your lender and understand here. Now, change number 6, this I'm really fascinated by. And the reason I bring it to you is it's the insurance rule change. And this really could impact in places like Florida, where we're seeing a whole lot of hurricanes, or maybe up along the East Coast. What will happen is it allows for a change as far as insurance coverage, right? On a condo, everything that you pay into covers the unit. Well, they could actually change the replacement cost for the actual cost. And what this does is it changes how much the policy could be. You really want to understand replacement versus actual. And the replacement cost, like the current cost, is usually cheaper. And that's why this big change. So you could see insurance rates go down on condos, but less is covered, which means you actually have to come out of pocket, especially when you think about roofs along anything in Florida, Hurricane Alley, all of that. Gosh, even going across the Midwest with tornadoes and the big windstorms. So this one is interesting. It's one to watch. Makes me nervous, but nonetheless, you definitely want to be asking about insurance when you get a buyer under contract. So these key dates to remember: March 18th, already come and gone. It allowed for the investor cap removed, small waiver expanded, and the actual cash value for roofs was allowed in March. But coming August 3rd, the limited review ends. And this means it's going to take longer. They're going to ask for more documentation. The reserve study rules tighten. So they want to make sure that the reserve was reviewed in the last 3 years. And also coming in January, the reserve requirement is going to increase from 10% to 15%. So if I'm working with a lot of condos right now, what I'm going to say is I'm going to expect HOAs to raise dues before January 2027. So I really want to be watching that right now. Longer closing timelines, especially kicking off in August. And some buildings may gain or lose financing eligibility under Freddie and Fannie. So definitely check out the letter. It was LL-2026-03 for guidance. And of course, you can Google all of this. And I always like to leave you with tips and tricks. This is your condo deal checklist. These are things that if you're going to go out, you're going to list a condo, or you're going to help a buyer buy, check these things out: the reserve percentage, reserve study and date, and the funding level. Your condo questionnaire, right? You want to make sure you understand what everything looks like, how much in reserves, the insurance, the master insurance policy, what's covered. Is it actual cash value or is it full replacement? And then, of course, working with your lender. Guys, if you have any questions, please reach out to myself or your state broker. As always, we're here to have your back.
Holly, thank you for always keeping your finger on the pulse of today's market. So now summer school is in session. We have the ultimate training powerhouse built right here into this brokerage called eXp University. To see what upcoming cohort systems and playbooks you need to be plugging into this season, let's hand it over to Alyssa Speck for eXp University Spotlight. Take it away, Alyssa.
Quick question for you. What if your business generated more opportunities without requiring you to work more hours? That sounds wonderful, right? So the agents who continue to grow, they aren't out here just working harder. They're building systems that create actual momentum. And that's what this week is all about here at eXp University. Let me give you the rundown. So starting on July 28th, we are launching our pilot of our Icon Lead Mastery class likes to leads with YouTube. If you have ever thought, I know I should be on YouTube, but I do not know where to start. Well, firstly, you're not alone. And the reality here is that YouTube is not about going viral. It's actually about becoming the agent that people already trust before they even reach out. So in this class, you're going to learn how top icons use YouTube to build authority, to create trust that actually scales, and turn this content into predictable conversations and predictable opportunities. If you are ready to make that marketing work after hours, join Russ, join myself, and we will give you the lowdown. That is July 28th. You can register on expuniversity.com. But my friends, we're not done. This one's actually tomorrow. Tomorrow, we have got Kyle Mark joining us on Team Mastery. Now, my question for you here is, what if every open house that you hosted consistently filled your pipeline, right? That's the dream. Now, Kyle is going to share the framework that he uses to turn open visitors into real opportunities. Forget your brochures, forget the paper sign-in sheets. Instead, we're going to give you a value-driven system powered by lofty automations. Guys, this is something, if you are looking to revamp your open house strategy or even help your team revamp theirs, join us tomorrow, Thursday, and you can, again, register on expuniversity.com. But then, my friends, coming up next week, just a sneak preview, we have got another amazing Elite Solo Agent Mastermind. This time, we're bringing in the big dogs. We're bringing in Renee Rodriguez. He's an internationally recognized expert on influence, on leadership, on human behavior. And we need that whether we're meeting with buyers, presenting to sellers, or simply looking to become a more persuasive and confident person in every conversation. Renee is going to bring you everything you need to know to help you create a stronger connection and get better results. So guys, we've got it all this week, whether you're looking to attract more business through YouTube, if you're looking to turn open houses into a predictable lead source, or even just become a more influential person in every client conversation, EXPU has got you. I will see you in class.
All right, Alyssa, thank you for that incredible update. And I'm just going to say it again. If you haven't already signed up and registered for the July 28th cohort, we're talking about masterclass on YouTube. Alyssa and I are going to be sharing the stage, making sure we're telling you guys what's going on. We took 24 of our real estate agents and took their playbooks and put them together for you guys so you can have the best of the best on how to get business coming from YouTube. So make sure you register for that one. Super excited to show you guys what I'm already seeing in that show. All right, so here we go. We're officially wrapping things up for the rest of the week. And I want to make sure we hear from you guys. Check out the screen. You've got the QR code on the screen. Take a second. If you could, give us a scale rating on the scale of 1 to 10. Let us know this week how we did. And let us know if there's something you'd like to add for a comment, what we could do more, what we could do less. So while you're at it, also, last but not least, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button on this part of the YouTube channel so you can see what's coming up next on Big Agent Meeting. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next Wednesday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. See you next week.
Following the Big Agent Meeting, serious agents are coming here. KGCI streams real-world real estate strategy 24 hours a day.
Lead generation, conversion, marketing that actually works.
Take it with you wherever you go. Download the always free Real Estate On Air mobile app for iPhone and